I can remember going up with Cliff actually to go shopping, and it was amazing. It was Friday.
Not too much of the past stuff now.
And of course, all the good Catholics can't eat meat on, or couldn't eat meat on Friday in those days. So we went up and I don't know how many tins of salmon we bought, but I know we had salmon rissoles that night. And there had been a train coming from Sydney with boxes and boxes of bananas. Didn't matter where you went in High Street, there were open boxes of bananas. So, and I remember it was Cliff decided we'd have banana fritters. So we made all these banana fritters, and I don't know how many we'd doled out, but Cliff suddenly came over to me and said, "Could you please take over?" And I said, "Yeah, for sure. Will I keep a meal for you?" "No, thanks." And off he went. Little did I know that he was so nauseated from the smell of those bananas. So I started cooking bananas, and I could really understand why he'd, moved off.
But see, I did learn something about cooking. I added from boiling eggs to banana fritters. So there's one lesson I learned.
You were fine with banana fritters. They were really good. I think one of the saddest times I saw there, a couple of the policemen came in one night or one afternoon and said, "We won't be back for a meal tonight." And I said, "Oh, dining out, are we?" And they said, "No, we've got to go and clean the house out," because there were a couple of houses up there in Mount Pleasant Street that unfortunately the owners didn't get out. And so 3 of them went off, and I said, "No, you come back and have a meal, you've got to eat." And they came back, and 2 of them were lovely, nice, clean clothes. The other lad was from Sydney, he was only quite young, and I remember he came up and said to me, "Can you smell me?" And I said, "No." Little did he know, I just felt sick, because it was the first time I had ever smelled death, and it's something I'll never forget. And he ended up, he came in and had a meal, but that was sad. That was very, very sad. Yes, well, I asked Mr. McGrath, he was our mentor there. I asked him, could I go home? I didn't know where my parents were. So he arranged for me to go home in a duck. So I went home, found my parents were up at my grandmother's place in High Street, so they were all right. But unfortunately, Dad had put a lot of furniture up in the house, but there was tremendous current down Melbourne Street. Dad said he'd never seen anything like it. He said they came out in a surf boat, and the surf boat after him, he said, smashed against the post office pillar box. But that was I had to make the promise that I would go back to work. So when I got back, the duck told me what time they were going back, but I'd missed it, and I had a pass that I could travel anywhere. So I ended up in a motorboat, or a motorboat of some sort, with a couple of the council workers, and we went all around the back of Maitland where the pool is, and all you could see were just tiny little roofs, and at the pool all you could see was just the mast where the flag used to go. You couldn't see anything else, but it was such an eerie, it was unreal, just the eeriness of the whole thing, because at that stage the water had stopped running, and it was just still. But I also went home later, after we were allowed to travel. You still had to have a travel pass, couldn't get anywhere without your travel pass. And Sid McGrath, being the love of a man that he was, gave me some blankets to take home, because he knew we wouldn't have blankets. I had to return them because they were departmental stock, and you couldn't, even in a time like that, you couldn't keep them. So I went home, and my mum and dad were very, very grateful for those, because it sort of it helped us. And my fiance had come down from Patterson with all the paraphernalia to help clean the house out, and the rule was that I couldn't travel by myself, that Claude had to come with me. So he'd take me back to work, then get back the best way he could. And I can remember one night the only conveyance available was a police van, with the lock-up behind the cab, and we got in there, and we're going down High Street, pretty slow speed, and Ned Finlayson was the pool superintendent. As you know, I was well associated with the pool, And we're just travelling, and the next minute he gets on the back and grabs the things. He said, "Oh, we got him at last, we got him at last." It was a bit of a joke. We were locked up and he was on the outside. But that was my conveyance for quite a few days after that, and until everyone, or Mum and Dad and everyone imaginable, cleaned the house out. And but there's lots of memories, lots of people, so many people you'd want to thank that it's impossible, because there were just so many people behind you all the time.